Let's be real for a second. Have you ever looked at your GitHub profile and just wondered, what's all this actually worth? All those late nights, all those thousands of lines of code. What if you could turn all that hard work into something real, something you can actually prove your skills with? Well, let's dive into how Skill Protocol is trying to make that happen. Man, this quote really hits home, doesn't it? We're all out here constantly building, learning, pushing code, but so much of that growth feels like it's trapped. It's stuck inside our private repos, totally invisible to recruiters, clients, and sometimes even to ourselves. And it creates this really frustrating cycle. I mean, think about it. If you're self-taught, how do you prove you've leveled up? If you're a recruiter, you're just guessing based on keywords on a resume. And if you're trying to learn, you eventually hit this wall where you just don't know what to build next to get better. There's this huge gap between the code we write and the careers we actually want. So yeah, that is the big question, right? How do we fix this? How do we take all of that effort, all of those commits, and actually make them count for something tangible? Well, the proposed answer comes in the form of Skill Protocol, and this isn't just another boring code scanner. You need to think of it more like your own personal AI review team, almost like a senior engineer in your pocket, ready to look at your work and help guide you. So how in the world does it work? Well, under the hood, it's what's called an agentic system. It basically combines two really powerful ideas. You've got deterministic analysis. Think of that as the part that just looks at the cold, hard facts of your code. It's pure math. And then you have probabilistic reasoning, which is more like an experienced developer's intuition, using AI to understand the quality and context. You get the best of both worlds. And it doesn't do this with just one giant AI brain. No, it uses a team of 8 different specialized AI agents. Each one has a very specific job, and they all work together, passing your code down the line just like a real-life code review team would. All right, so let's pop the hood. What actually happens when you give it your GitHub repo? Let's take a walk through this whole multi-agent pipeline step by step. So your code goes on this pretty cool journey. You submit it, and right away it gets validated and scanned for all the objective data. Then this hybrid of AI and statistical models jump in to assess and grade it. The system even has a process for resolving its own disagreements and checks if your code actually works. And only then, at the very end, does it generate your personalized growth plan and issue your skill credits. First up is the validator. You can think of it as the gatekeeper or the bouncer at the door. Its job is super simple but absolutely crucial. Make sure the repo is legit and accessible before any of the expensive AI stuff starts. It's all about not wasting resources. Next in line is the scanner, and this one has a great name, the code archaeologist. See, it doesn't just count your lines of code. It uses something called abstract syntax tree parsing to actually understand the structure of your code. This means it's smart enough to know that one really elegant, dense line of code is way more complex than 100 lines of comments or boilerplate. It sees the skill, not just the size. Okay, now we're getting to the really clever part, because look, anyone can just throw some code at an AI and get a kind of vague response. So how does Skill Protocol get such high accuracy and avoid all those crazy AI hallucinations we hear about? The secret is this awesome two-pronged attack. On one side, you have the statistical oracle. This is the math part. It looks at data from thousands of other repos to predict what the skill levels should be. But on the other side, you have the AI evaluator. This is the part that acts more like a human, using a powerful language model to actually read the code and judge its quality. Which, of course, brings up a super important question. What happens when the objective math model and the subjective AI model look at the same code and come to totally different conclusions? So imagine this scenario, a classic conflict. The AI grader sees some really elegant, clever code and says, wow, this is high-level stuff, level 4 for sure. But the statistical model looks at the small project size and says, hold on, for a project this simple, it's most likely a level 2. So who's right? This is where the secret weapon comes in, the judge agent. It's the arbitrator. When there's a disagreement like that, the judge gets activated. Its only job is to look at the evidence from both sides, the math and the AI, and make the final call. And get this whole system of checks and balances really, really works. This unique architecture with the judge as a tiebreaker actually slashes AI errors and hallucinations by a massive 85%. I mean, think about that. It means the feedback you're getting isn't just some random AI guess. It's a reliable, trustworthy score.
So the tech is really cool, right? But what does it all mean for you? Let's talk about the payoff, turning all this analysis into a real career roadmap and credits you can actually use.
The whole system grades your code using a framework inspired by SFIA, which is pretty much the global industry standard for IT skills. Your code gets a level from 1 to 5, and as you can see, each level has a credit multiplier. It's simple. The higher your skill, the more your work is worth. It's a super clear incentive to get better.
But hold on, before you get those credits, one last agent has to take a look: the auditor. This is the reality checker. It literally checks your GitHub actions to see if your tests pass. Because, let's face it, beautiful code that's broken is, well, it's worthless. And if the build fails, there's a harsh but totally fair 50% penalty. And finally, this is where it all comes together in what I think is a total game changer: the mentor agent. It takes all of that complicated analysis and turns it into a simple, personalized plan just for you. It doesn't just say your code is bad, it tells you exactly how to improve, what patterns you're missing, and gives you a step-by-step roadmap to finally level up. And this chart just makes it crystal clear. The mentor doesn't just show you where you are right now, it shows you where you could be. It actually projects how many more credits you could earn by following your personal roadmap, turning this vague idea of getting better into a clear, achievable goal. So, we're back where we started. We all have progress hiding in our code, progress that feels invisible. A system like this is designed to find it, to measure it, and to help you grow it. So the only real question left is, what amazing invisible skills are hiding in your code, just waiting to be discovered?